Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. I guess I'm just gonna make this like a nightly thing, just a nightly chit chat of my random thoughts of the day, since a lot of people enjoy. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but some people enjoy my chit chats. Today's chit chats is going to be about the dating pool. The dating pool is trash for single women, and here's why. First and foremost, I feel like there's way more attractive women than there are attractive men, which creates a oversupply for the men, right? And so these men have way too many options of beautiful women, right? Because there's a lot of beautiful women. There's more good looking women than there are good looking men. So this creates two things. One, it gives way too many men a lot of options for if they're just looking for someone who looks good. The other thing is, because there's not as many attractive men, the men that are attractive also have way too many options, right? So I think like men who are really attractive have a lot more options, have a lot more women throwing themselves at them, right? And then those men are typically like the players type men, right? Because they know they look good. They know there's not a lot of men that look as that great. So it's like there's a low supply of good looking men, which makes their demand higher. So it's just like supply demand type of thing. Now obviously people are not like objects or commodities that you sell and exchange, but just using that as term loosely. There's more demand for the more attractive men, so they have a lot more options, which also tends to them being players, whatever. And then you have the guys who have money that will also, have girls throw themselves at them. Now, this is very like superficial type status things, just looks and money, whatever. Those are like the most superficial aspects of dating, but it is true that people care about those specific things. So you have men with a lot of money and men who are good looking have this plethora of options, and those types of men basically are not struggling to date. So then if you're an attractive woman and you want a man that is also attractive and also makes a decent amount of money, you have such a limited options, right? So that brings me to the next problem. Then if you want a man that's attractive, has money and good morals, that's like a unicorn. And those men are probably all gone at this point. Like, I would say there's often a trade-off of morals. Like, you're dating a rich man, he's probably going to cheat on you. Same with if you're dating an attractive man, they're probably not as faithful, don't have as great morals. Now, this isn't an always type of thing. It's just like when someone is, honestly, this is all like very, what's the word, generalized. It's not going to apply to like every single situation, but watching Love Island, I feel like USA is also kind of sparking some of this conversation, because I just watched, spoilers ahead if you are not watching, or if you're watching it but haven't watched the newest season. Actually, by the time you see this, it's probably not even a spoiler, so whatever. But I just watched episode 4, which is like the first person of the season has gone home. And it's this gorgeous girl. Her name's Bella. Now, in my personal opinion, I found her, it's not that I didn't like her, I just found her voice annoying, and I didn't really I didn't really like the way she talks, which is such like a nitpicky thing to like say you don't like. It's like she seems like a beautiful person. Otherwise, I just personally did not like listening to her talk. But at the end of the day, that's just me being nitpicky. It's my personal opinion. Nothing against her as a person, though. She is a very beautiful woman. Seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. But I will say, like, I don't feel like Love Island was the right show for her to go on, because she just seemed like she's a lot more reserved than others on the show. You know, there was like a game when they're talking about body counts. She had only one. And I feel like, you know, the show itself is full of like very sexually active people. It typically is who are drawn to be on that show. Hypersexual people, in my opinion. So I just feel like she didn't really fit that aspect of the show. And I feel like she was putting herself outside her comfort zone being on there. But what I really think I relate to about her is like, you can be like the most beautiful person on the outside, and like, this is why I would say like your outward beauty is not enough for, it's never just about how beautiful you are on the outside. But it also seems like, you know, she wasn't, she tried to put herself out there with this guy, and basically like she wasn't going to chase a man, basically, like, just point blank period. She's like, I'm not chasing a man. Like, I want a man who knows what he wants. And like, not saying the other girl that he ended up choosing was necessarily chasing him, but she did make herself a lot more available to that man than the other woman. And so that's what I'm saying, like, a lot of men are not going to, just because you're very attractive or whatever, doesn't mean like you're automatically going to be someone's first choice in dating. And like, he was intimidated by her beauty, but at the same time, the beauty alone is not going to get a man, is not going to make a man want to be with you. So it's just like, and I'm not saying that's what this girl was doing, like just expecting like all of these men to want her just because of how pretty she was. But I do think there's some women that think that just being pretty on the outside is enough to get a man. And I'm saying, like, I feel like it's enough to get a man that values your beauty over any other aspect of you, but that type of man is not typically one that truly respects you. So I don't know. It's such a complex thing. There's definitely like, I know when she gets out that villa, there's going to be plenty of men that are going to pursue her and want a relationship with her. She already has like a lot of fans. That's the other part too, is just like finding someone that is matches your same level of what you want. It's just hard. It's like, I feel like everyone wants the perfect person. Like, you want someone who's attractive, that you're attractive to, that has like a good head on their shoulders, has good morals, all of those things. But I feel like those types of people are very rare. I feel like it's hard to find people that really have all of those like good values and highly pursued attributes that most people want in a partner. I also feel like when it comes to like attractiveness, obviously like that's according to each person, and like not every person is going to think, you know, everybody is attractive. So I feel like, you know, that's something that people on in general date people who are their same level of attractive. But I'm saying the more attractive someone is, there's less options for them to date. If that person is supposed to be dating someone on their same level, because it's the rare, like the rare level of attractiveness, like being very attractive, there's less people who actually meet your same level of attraction. So a more attractive person is more likely to end up with someone less attractive than them. And I feel like someone who's moderately attractive actually has the most options available to them, because they will be attractive to the very attractive people, but also to the people on their same level and under. So it's just like, I don't know, if you're basing it off of like levels of attractiveness, someone who's like a solid 8 is probably getting more dates than someone who's like a 10 out of 10. And again, these ratings are subjective to every individual person. But I think like at the end of the day, it's just like looks is not the looks are alone are not going to get you a relationship or make you like better suited for someone, unless you're dating someone whose only interest in you is just those things. But moving on, I feel like the finding a person who also holds like your same morals is equally hard, because it's like you might find someone who's like moderately attractive, maybe they have a decent job, do all of these things, but when you're looking for someone, I feel like if we're saying talking about someone's ideal partner, as a woman, maybe you would say your ideal partner is a man that's attractive, makes a good amount of money, and has really good morals. I feel like those types of men are like I said, unicorn. Those are like the rarest types of men. You might find one with good morals, but he maybe doesn't make a lot of money and he's not attractive. You could find a man that's very attractive but has poor morals and also doesn't make a lot of money. You can find a man that has a lot of money but isn't very attractive and also doesn't have good morals, right? Like those are the most common ones we see. We'll see like someone who's not as attractive, doesn't make a lot of money, but has really good morals, or you'll find one. But finding someone who has all three of those things is like a unicorn in this world. And I feel like those are the men that a lot of women are most going to compete over. But those men, like I said, are probably already married, because a smart woman who's dating that man is not gonna let them go. So yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, personally, I do feel like there's a lot more high value women than high value men, meaning like women with good morals, women with who are beautiful inside and outside, women that are successful in their careers. Like I feel like there's a lot more women with high value women than high value men. And so it's just like if you are a high value woman, you don't have that many options, and I feel like that's why a lot of women are just staying single. You see a lot more single women. High value women are more likely to be single because they're not going to settle for the types of men that are currently available. Like I said, the main options are men. If you want someone who's decent looking, has a good job, and has good morals, um, that's rare. That's rare to find. And that's what a high value woman probably wants. Now, when it comes to like financial aspects too, I don't think like the number one focus is like how much money a person makes. But I also feel like as a woman who wants children, you have to think about like, is the person I'm dating, especially if you plan to take care, be like a stay-at-home mom or whatever, you want to feel secure and know that the person you're with will feasibly be able to provide for you and your children. Like that's why women value the financial status mostly for, I would feel like there's like a biological aspect of that. Like if you are looking for a partner, you want to know, and you want to have children, you want to know your partner can provide for you and your children. So I feel like I don't like when people act like someone's being wanting to know finances is just completely superficial, because it's like if I'm going to give up my career or whatever I'm doing in life as a woman to raise and bear children for a man, I want to know that I can provide for those children. That my husband will be able to provide for me and our children. So I feel like that's not necessarily like a negative thing. I feel like it is important. And honestly, you shouldn't be dating. I feel like anyone who's dating should have um a man that seriously dating should want to be like in a good place financially, but I also understand, like people can meet before they get on their feet completely and build together and grow. Like it's not saying like that's the only option for a lot of people. I also feel like that's why you date characteristics too. Like if someone's in school trying to like level up, or someone's starting at the beginning of their career, it's like some things can come later in a relationship, so it shouldn't be like the main focus or whatever, but I also think it is something that's important. Attractiveness, I feel like, is somewhat important. Personally, for me, I don't think it's the most important thing, but it would be nice to have a partner that you're attracted to physically. But I also feel like you can be attracted to someone in other ways that is not just physical. Or there's, for women, I also think a lot of women are able to find someone attractive not just because of their physical appearance. Like you can really, their personality can make them more attractive, or how they treat you, or just like other aspects of a person can make them more attractive. So it's not just all physical attractiveness for women. I think men definitely value physical attractiveness more than women do, which biologically I don't know why that is, but that's a thing. What else was I going to say? Like I said, the dating pool is not good if you are a high value woman, but if you're a high value man, I feel like there's a lot more options. I also just feel like there's not great ways to meet people anymore. I feel like most people are meeting online over social media, and I feel like that comes with its own issues because you just have way too many it's like too many options, right? Like how many attractive people exist out in the world. And I feel like that's kind of the downfall of social media and the internet, is like we're being exposed to attractive people across the world that we normally wouldn't even know existed. So now we're like, dang, there's attractive men all over the world, when we're, in most cases, you would only be exposed to the attractive people that are actually around you, and you would see like the attractive person that is around you as being the best of the best. But it's like we've expanded that to a worldwide level, and so it's now like the attractive in my city is not as attractive as maybe someone in another city or another town. And so now you're like comparing the options available to you locally to the options that are worldwide, and it's like we think we have more options than people think they have more options than they actually do. So I think that's also a challenge. What else? I don't know. For me, it's just like I just don't even care anymore. I'm at a point where it's just like I don't want to focus on dating or anything, because I feel like it's something that I don't want to have to force either. It's like if I try to force myself to go on dates in hopes of finding the right person, I honestly feel very masculine doing that, or feeling like I'm trying to pursue finding someone, because it's just like that's not in my femininity to be pursuing a relationship or looking. So it's like I feel like you can make yourself available to date, but that doesn't mean you want to like be constant. Like I don't like constantly swiping on dating apps, or like I really don't like being on dating apps. But regardless, I just feel like it's not something I need to be focusing on right now at this point in my life. And I feel like I want to focus on doing the things God's called me to do and trust God's timing, that if there is someone for me, that I will meet them in the right time and not like have to force something, a relationship to come just because it's like, oh, well, I feel like I'm ready for a relationship now. And I have my own timeline basically of like when I want things to happen. And it's okay. It's like being single is not a punishment, it's not a horrible existence or anything like that. It's literally just the reality. Anyways, my other thing I want to talk about is I am actually um so anyone who watched my videos maybe a long time ago, I went through like a BTS phase and I'm slowly creeping. It's slowly creeping back because apparently like I was never like super into K-pop or anything, but I did get into like BTS real bad, real bad a couple years ago. And I've been going down this rabbit hole of watching like BTS videos and edits and everything. And yeah, I feel like it's creeping back. And it's like I really do like their music and everything, but I also feel like some people take their interest in certain things to like an obsession level, and that's not healthy. So it's like I listen to their music and everything, but I don't want to be like an obsessive fan or anything like that. But it is something that I found myself like, oh my gosh, BTS. Because I forgot about them. Like, I was really into BTS like a 5+ years ago. I had posters and everything. I actually got rid of all my posters because I felt convicted about having pictures of like groups. Like, it was different groups or different like musical artists and actually just random things. I felt convicted about having those posters because I felt like I was creating it was like a form of idolatry. Now this was like a personal conviction. I'm not telling other people who have posters means that they're committing something, but it was like a personal conviction I had. Like, I had all of these posters of these boy bands and groups and other things on my wall, and I was like, how much Christian stuff, like how much do I worship Jesus? And I felt like it was like a form of worshiping those things, having those posters on my wall. So I don't really get posters and stuff on my wall. Also, I think I am older, so it's kind of also like maybe I shouldn't be having posters on my wall still. But you know what? I don't know. Like, I was talking to my older sister about this the other day. I was getting ready to go to the gym, and I was putting on trying to figure out what top to wear. I was like, ooh, I should put on this Hello Kitty shirt. And my sister was like, you're almost 30. You don't need to be wearing Hello Kitty. And I was just like, I don't care. I like Hello Kitty. I can wear what I want regardless of my age. But it's just like I feel like there is somewhat of a, like, there's a mindset that like as you get older you're just not supposed to, or you're supposed to grow out of like liking certain things or people. And I'm the type of person who's like, let people live. Like, I feel like if someone's 30 and still likes building Legos, let them live. If someone's in their 40s and still likes collecting cars, it's just like I hate how it's like we tell people like certain interests make them childish when in reality they're just, doing things that aren't overly sexual because they're not like doing the adult, like being an adult. Since when does being an adult mean like you're supposed to like boring, bland things? Or it's like, I don't know. Like, I get it to a certain extent, but I also feel like it's not hurting anybody. Someone being an adult and liking things that some people like to deem childish, I feel like, to me it just shows like we want people to normalize adult being, like drinking, doing drugs, going out, partying, all of those things. well, maybe that's not like all adults. Maybe just, I don't know. That's just like a certain lifestyles adults can live. But I also feel like being an adult, yes, you still have responsibilities, but I don't think it means like you're not allowed to still have your interest in things that you enjoyed. And for me, I feel like there's a lot of things that are like nostalgic. Like certain songs are just like nostalgic of your childhood. And it's like, your childhood is literally supposed to be like, it's like your best years. You have no responsibilities. You're free to just, enjoy things and play and be creative and all of those things. And I feel like a lot of people, when you lose that sense of creativity and exploration as an adult, and think like being an adult means you have to be bland and boring and not do any fun. I mean, fun is subjective, but thinking that you have to be limited to only liking certain things, or you're not allowed to like something because you are now a certain age, I just feel like that's not really true for a lot of people. Definitely, I feel like it's okay to have a hobby. It's okay to like whatever you like. Like, I mean, I've had other people say like similar comments, but I'm just like, until I'm no longer like Hello Kitty stuff, which, to be quite honest, it's like I'm not obsessed with Hello Kitty. I think Hello Kitty is very cute and girly, and I'm a cute girly type person. So I like those things, but I also don't think like it makes me any less of an adult just because I happen to wear a Hello Kitty shirt. But I do know other people might look at that and assume like, "Oh, you're very childish." Whatever, but it's just like, just because I'm not interested in like being overly sexual all the time or things like that doesn't make me any less than an adult. And I feel like there's kind of like this assumption or association, like in order to be grown you have to be like sexy, or you have to like, I don't know, doing adult activities all the time. I don't know. And that's just something I wanted to share. All right, I need to go to bed because it's 1 a.m. and I have to be up in like 6 hours. So good night, guys.